So what is doom poetry, you ask? Well, let me tell you. Doom poetry is the twisted, the dark, the type of poetry you don't hear it most open-minded poets. So, we're going to go ahead and introduce a few poets this evening, but we're going to go ahead and start off with an example of some doomed poetry from myself. My name is Shwa Laytart, and I will be your host this evening. So doom poetry can be about love, it can be about the environment, it can be about the police and your love for them and the environment the police live in. It can be about anything you really like, but it's a little dark and a little twisted, a little demented. Much like this first poem of the evening called Mr. Garbage Man. Mr. Garbage Man, what do you see? Bits and pieces of a sick society? Mr. Garbage Man, what do you hear? The sound of people living in fear. Mr. Garbage Man, what do you think? Have we pushed our culture to the brink? Mr. Garbage Man, can you tell that as a species, if we have failed? Mr. Garbage Man, do you know if we will reap what we sow? Mr. Garbage Man, do you know? Mr. Garbage Man, do you know? Mr. Garbage Man, I want to thank you for always making messes and you're always coming through. That was Mr. Garbage Man. Well, that was a little soft core, so I wanted to start off easy. You guys think you can handle a little something more dark and demented? All right then, let's get right into it. This one's entitled, Mother Nature Hates Us. After we killed her baby, a mother elephant terrorized the village night after night. When we finally killed her, we discovered she had eaten human flesh, and herbivore ate meat. Thus, do you know how much hate she had to have for us? Mother Nature hates us. Tourists smashed and ate a hexapus, the second one ever discovered. You can bet that Mother Nature hates us. Beach whales, beach porpoises, beach dolphins too. Mother Nature hates us all, even you. The rainforest is still burning. Heat wave, go find some water. Heat wave, sacrifice a daughter. Chemical runoff runs in the pack. A simple humanitarian hack. Dead fish, dead birds, dead fish. When they're all gone, you get a free wish. When the sea levels rise, it's only a momentary demise, at least in the planetary's eyes. Oil spill, more contaminated water. Do I sound ungrateful as we head to the slaughter? Mother Nature hates us. Poison ivy loves climate change. If only I could scratch this rash on my brain. Will your city disappear? It's in God's hands, so have no fear. And if it does, our thoughts and prayers go out to everyone. Island of garbage, the new paradise. The view is the same and you can't beat the price. Waves of trash shaken and stirred with expensive pharmacological turds. Oil slick spreads as cleanup continues. The next episode of the Earthlings Blues. Who's profiting off of our descent? Maybe the private corporate government. Hurricanes, floods, and electrical storms, tornadoes, and fires, we called them the norm. Mother Nature hates us. Well, when you're there, you don't have to look far. The Balboa tree's not the only thing going extinct in Madagascar. Rhino, meet the dodo. You're basically the same when it comes to how we play the game. Now animals hunt us just to kill. The animal kingdom's evolutionary thrill. Oh, The rainforest is still burning. Village under siege, attack to the jungle monkey. Evolution, my friend, you're a twisted junkie. Drought, drought, try and dig ourselves out. Drought, drought, balancing hope and doubt. The rainforest is still burning. Destruction of the forest and ancient rock formations, but leave the statues of our idols up because we're such a proud nation. Ragweed, pollen, mass death of bees. Are we sure we're killing off the correct species? Mother Nature hates us. Mother Nature hates us. The rainforest is still burning. After we killed her baby, a mother elephant terrorized the village night after night. When we finally killed her, we discovered she had eaten human flesh. An herbivore ate meat. Thus, you know how much hate she had to have for us. Mother Nature hates us. Welcome to Dillon Poetry, everybody. All right, our first poet of the evening is Garrett James Dillon. Come on up, Garrett. Let's hear what you have to complain about.
Thank you, everyone. As you said, my name is Garrett James Dillon. Very happy to make my debut here at the Red Dwarf, the best tiki bar in Las Vegas. We'll just get started here. This first poem is from my book, Reflections from the Haze. It's available for purchase. Had to plug the book. It's obligatory. Anyway, this first one is about the most important meal of the day, and it's called Breakfast of the Dain. It's better to be strung out than strung up. Ran down ragged on the wrong side of a come-up. Dawn twitches with conspiracy. Amphetamines and vodka on an empty stomach. Peripheral figures whispering in downward spirals. Cornered by cortisol and repetitive relief tactics. Burned glass turns over as the earth seems to stand still. Woo! That's how I want to write poetry. I'm taking a drink, so you'll know.
Get comfy with that mic.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
When I got started writing poetry again, seriously, I actually lived right down the road from here. Is this good? Am I doing that? I usually have to yell shit. But anyway, when I got started writing poetry again, seriously, I lived right down the street from here, Maryland and Drop. So this poem is about the old neighborhood and its very distinct charm. It's called 5002 South Maryland Parkway. The present is fucked, and I have no use for it. So I'm blacking out today in reverence of days past. Pernicious but precious, yesteryear is preferable, back when the suffering at least made sense. Just a drugged up druid hunkered down in his bunker temple, leaving trash strewn about to honor the forgotten, forgetting the dead to placate the living, choosing not to choose life, as if life were an option. Opting instead for dread and infestation with all the grace of a fist through a mirror. I stepped on more broken glass inside than outside, just ask the bloody footprints leading to the liquor store. Past the madmen screaming in the street, burnt a shade of copper that can't be ripped from their skin. Past the college students avoiding eye contact, waiting for their buses and their futures far away from here. Past the dive bars and punk clubs and crack houses, resolute in their toxic charm and reliable cheap escapes. Sanguine staggered pattern tells a stripped down story. Its particulars are all irrelevant, ignoble, illegal. The neighborhood was nice and negative. It was the kind of place salvation came hard. Built as a way of life was my spirituality then, nourished daily by ritualistic roach sacrifices. The spilt yeast Eucharist ensured a healthy harvest. Every day I'd give it, and every night I'd take it away. When I sank home into my holiest of holes, there was always something for me to kill. You're too kind. All right. one's called Dry. I have mastered the art of wasting time, consolidating cravings. I dream of the desert. In subtle misanthropy, we grow pure. Get down low for Armageddon, your failed routine right on schedule. And in the nuclear silence we leave behind, may the roaches get fat in our honor. This last one is about being carted home from California, blackout drunk, and waking up to everybody in your family being pissed off at you. It's called Death of a Drunken Asshole. Never try to shit a shitter. He slurred, bleeding in needles, treating fresh wounds with cinnamon, mere moments after trading his left eye for scratch-off tickets, which were lit up to burn down an unnamed forest. Shit, itch might as well be my name, he sobbed around Barstow, trading ratios, scenic failure dancing irradiated like dynamite nestled right at home. The car crashed in Jean, trampled by buffalo ghosts. The desert eats what it calls its own. Blacked out death is all he'd ever hoped for. Worthless bastard got more than he deserved.
Garrett, James, Dean, Dillon, everyone. See if I can put this up a little higher here. Well, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight. I mean, you don't really usually go to a bar to hear poetry, but you guys, we got you here, so I hope you enjoy. Our next poet this evening needs no introduction, is an amazing performer here locally in Las Vegas, so please help me welcome Elizabeth Allen Bird.
We just don't do it like this. I like the demented. I've been thinking a lot about doom. So I decided if we're all doomed, I might as well look good while doing it. The other thing is I love supporting community and being within community. Avantpop is my family. I'm teaching a blackout poetry workshop with Sharpies. You get a book and then you fill it out. So that's over at Avantpop. Follow them for more information. I'm going to be reading out of my chapter 2. This is about my experience in the Midwest. So
Well, that had to be an experience.
it's a little doom, you know? God's country. How far must we walk until we find ourselves home? How loud must we speak until we no longer throw our voices to those who just speak in our mother tongue? I only exist in this repetition because I started here, because I ended up near those who make me feel at home. It's the oofdas for me. It's the don't you knows for me. It's the not knowing when to leave, then saying goodbye in every room. It's like we were never told that our love stays warm like the vegetables roasting in the oven. It's like we were never told that passive action could be corrected with bold correctness of honest communication. This is God's country. Warm summers coupled with unforgivable winters. Stretched out rivers that sculpt the hills and valleys that we drive through. Who knew God really loved all these drive-throughs? I don't know you, but your skin and your dialect feel like home to me. When you talk about work, it makes me want to call you uncle and auntie. When we sit in rare silence and just listen to God sing, that's home for me. Through the birds and cicadas and wind rustling leaves, that's home to me. When we walk through your garden and just breathe, that is home to me. I miss you in your long nights and cold 40s, your big bugs and larger than life trees. I miss how your air holds me so tenderly. It's the smell of your fresh flowers and cut leaves. I miss you, God's country. You and your eccentricities, God. You and your loving stares, God. You and your uncomfortable memories. Who told you God was watching? It's the incredulous dads for me. It's the, hey man, I like your outfit. For me, it's the being afraid of someone hearing the sound of my pee. For me, wait, are those Jesus' crosses? Because I thought he was watching up on the big screen. I thought he was the one who raised these forests and grasslands. I thought his glory made the sun shine. I figured he'd want me to feel both comfortable and safe. I want to call him my grace, but I also hear his name beckoning me to my grave. God's country. I hope you like your eggs runny, because when you look different and sound funny, there's a chance you are not coming home. God's country. Sudden moments and polite bruises. I'm glad I got that fat movement and cute booty to prove it. It's just that I can't forget the adrenaline from a fear rush. I can't help but be candid and conquerous of this memory. In my man of this country, I thought he loved his children equally, but yeah, a child of 12 years should carry the baby to full term. The dilapidated playgrounds and old farm gear sent me shaking in my vintage flannels past all those corn ears and wheat fools. Why must your beauty and your views be so ancient? Why can't you let me be here, adjacent to the commonplace station that's blasting from the radio? It's either NPR or Bible verse rations that fill our wave to consumption. Does middle ground really behoove us? Midwest, I miss you, but it's hard to accept you abuse me. I'll come back to your curdle cooing as if your lips could be as cold as your frigid nocturnus. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, unless it's for those who still need you. I do not forgive you for your trespasses, because my heart is still torn from your hiding. Let us not into temptation, unless you are tempted to love thy neighbor who is different, than deliver them into evil. You are more powerful than the country that he built. You are the entire world. For thine is the kingdom and the glory and the power and the power and the power and forever and ever. Good night. I wish you did not fill my home with these spiders and mites who crawl on my bones while I am sleeping, safekeeping to my abode, because this sojourn is soon to be over. My place, my castle, still has the presence of Christ's conscience, but that place, and that wide open prairie, that space where the willows dance and the deer prance spirit freely, that place lives nowhere near God's country.
Put that one there. So. All right, so we couldn't do this without Red Dwarf, so please tip your bartender, drink and eat, and fulfill yourself in all the needs that we cannot do for you. Coming up next, we've got a poet that did not want to do our other poetry singing. She preferred to do her poetry in a bar. She thought she was so hardcore that this was the only place people would respect her work. So please help me introduce Radiogenica.
Unlike the last few people that were up here, I am little, so we're adjusting this. My name is Radiogenica, Raid for short, radio for medium. This first poem is Radiogenic Daughter, and it's where the name came from. She learned to hold her tongue, maybe lost it altogether, like an animal, skinned, displayed so you can touch her. So touch her all you want, touch her all you can. She can't bite you anymore. It could have made you feel alive to set your home, your world on fire, but you are your mother's daughter, and never will you burn. You are your father's daughter, so never will you burn. And you don't bite anymore. Don't keep your gun by the door, and you'll sleep on the floor if they ask. It'll pass. And you don't fight anymore. Your friends will think you're a bore, happy to dress like a whore if they ask. Peel back the skin on your face to see what's underneath. Tell me that what you see is not placating smiles and well-meaning lies all stored in a body that you've been dragging for miles. Because you are your mother's daughter, and never will you burn. You are your father's daughter, and never will you burn. This second one is called The Colony, and it's about ants in the fucking walls. You know if you're not careful, they will live inside your walls, crawl along the same paths that they always do. They are always there, out of sight, not out of mind. And you can keep them at bay like you always have for years, but you swear if you listen, it's all you'll ever hear. And it's only a matter of time before they are in your bed and in your hair and in your clothes, and you can only dance to get away, and all you can ever really think is, God, I must look like a freak. And you have to be careful because it lives inside your walls. It knows how you crawl along the same path that you always do. It won't be kept at bay the same as it always has been for years. And I swear if you listen, it is all you will ever hear. It is only a matter of time before they are in your bed and in your hair and in your clothes. But aside from fumigation, complete and total evacuation, there is nothing left to do but manage the symptoms of infestation. This last one is called Leave the Light On, and it's about Las Vegas. When all that's left are claw marks in the mud of a dry lake bed, and when canyon walls are completely white, marked only by ring bolts far above anyone's head, the people will run for the hills, the suits will run for what's beyond them, the lights will die, the colors fade, and the city will run dry again. Coyotes will roam casino floors, no sights to see but sand piled against doors. Green felt tabletops shredded by tooth and claw, chewed like grass by rabbits, and not one soul left to cash in chips. Who will be left at the end of this all? What light will stay on to maintain one-stop bar crawls? Who will feed the desert when they finally die? What will remain when the city runs dry?
All right, I know that's probably a lot to digest, so we're going to go ahead and give you a little break here with some music from Dain Griffin. Get yourself another beer, folks. We'll be back up for another round with these poets to read some more of their doomed poetry.
Not for having me. My name's Dain. My words aren't as clever or dark, but so you'll like it anyway.
Let me in. Let's forget who we are. Let's forget our whole lives. Let's forget just tonight. Let's forget who we are. Let's forget our whole lives. Let's forget just tonight. Thanks.
Like a nurse.
All right. Dain Griffin, everybody. Dain Griffin. Let's give a big hand to Dain. Thank goodness he's here to break up all of our nonsense. All right, well, before we get on to another round of our poets, I thought I'd read a couple of poems, kind of break it up a little bit, and do something a little more romantic for you, some doom romance. This is a series I call Healthy Love Poems. I got 2 of them for you. We're going to start off with the first one, Healthy Love Poem. I've got phlegm a mile wide, and you want to kiss me tonight? My body stinks and I'm sweating glue, and my sticky tongue mouth wants to kiss you too. Parasites in your eyes, I see what's on the inside. Bacteria, infested veins, I need ants in my blood to keep me clean. My nervous system's shot. Your touch feels like an electric shock. Rash on my skin from using detergent. Even bleeding out, the situation's never urgent. The air is diseased, just like the sea, so it seems like a good time to start our recovery. We all have needs. Consciously, I hope you choose what works for me. Just be like me, but only what you perceive are excuses excusing every brutality. Why are we all so socially sadistic, yet personally masochistic? Superficial fetish fashion, I'm just peering in from another dimension. Don't forget to breathe when anxious tendencies remove the ease of relaxation. Pale skin, almost translucent. I'm alright, just slightly wounded. Are you okay? Should I refrain from pointing out the misleading? Separate the body from the mind. I think I'll try not to think tonight. I wish I could heal all my free radical damage. My body is a temple and in it lives a savage. If I were sick and somewhat insane, would you still love me the same? Healthy Love Poem number 1, folks. You're welcome. All right, I got one more before we introduce the next poet for you. This is doomed poetry, folks. Welcome. Healthy Love Poem number 2, because y'all look like you need a little romance in your life. I love you on this sand dune of sparkling microplastics, with that hypnotic sound of waves upon waves of majestic radiation. It truly brightens up your gloomy, psychotic, demoralized expression. Intoxicated by the toxins, chemicals spilling into our immediate direction. You take my breath away like the air these days. It makes choking so much more pleasurable. With every last second that passes, we should be escaping the masses, but we're caught in a styrofoam bubble affecting the lower classes. So my love, it's you and me living the virtual dream, trying desperately to be blissfully oblivious of our systemic drowning. That's love, folks, right there for you. That's love. All right, let's bring up our next poet this evening. She needs no introduction. Margaret The Dreamer.
So I guess we're all doomed, right? And I guess this mic's a little weird, right? So be generous with me on that. We're going to try to compensate for it. So if we're all doomed, we might as well do some sexy stuff. Also, I tend to do a little bit shorter form poetry, like some of the other poets that were up here. If it has the title, I'll give you the title. If not, we're just going to go untitled, and I'll say Finn at the end, so you know it's the end and you know when to clap. This is very new shit. Yeah, some people know. It's untitled. Fire of desire consumes me. Saucy, sultry, seductive yearning, in need, insatiable at this table. I'm ready for the frenzied feeding. I hunger, I thirst. Wet, wet, wet my appetite, please. Wet, wet, wet my appetite to please. Ride the waves with me. Rock the boat with me. Stroke, stroke, stroke with me. Let's go overboard. Feelings shown through sensory, sensual touch, the best way I know to bring you to your knees. Still, while curling your toes, still I try through prose. Finn. This is a shorter one because it's a haiku, but it's in the same vein. This is called Delectable. Sensuality, sizzling, dripping on your lips, irresistible. Finn. Let's get angry for a little bit. This is called The Details of Retail. I'm ready to start a fight with the idiot who coined the phrase, the customer's always right. Come on, my guy, you and I both know that that's a goddamn lie. If the customer's always right, then I'm a stupid, ugly-ass bitch when I merely answered the question. So what about then? How about when I have grown adults throwing objects, knocking over displays, causing destruction because they object to the fact that I'm out of this or that, a stalking issue ending in a personal attack, leaving me feeling like I've got to watch my back? I guess people just don't know how to act. You know, it really does make me wish that the robots just take over it all. Just so maybe I don't have to deal with y'all. I'm not trying to be rude or give attitude, just putting up a wall. Boundaries so my mental health doesn't fall any further than it has. I mean, you already know the rest, and I guess that's what I get for working with the best, and our customers are always the best. Thank you. Come again, Finn. I have one more for you guys, I think, in this set. Maybe one or two, if I can cram it in. Let's do some heartbreak. This is called Don't Call Me Miss Joplin. I'm not Janice. No pieces of my heart are for the taking. My heart is given in full, no fractures here. Ripped out whole, beating like a drum, in glory and fear. Each time, the pain overtaking, persistent aching, my disembodied heart breaking, in their hands. Gutted, earth shifted, chasm in my chest, still, I'm crawling, I'm clawing, fall to my knees, and I still stand again, my friend. Holding my heart infinitely regenerative, knowing how much more I have to give, I have to live. That can feel bittersweet, but I guess I've developed a taste for it. Finn. Maybe one more or done? One more? Okay, one more. We'll stay heartbroken. This is called Burn. It's also in the that Avantpop yellow poetry, punk poetry zine that's over there that you guys can get. I think there's only like 12 left, so I don't know. Maybe get them, be one of the lucky 12. This is called Burn. I have never fallen out of love of my own accord. I've only been forced out, door in the face, left on the stoop, out in the rain, in pain. How can you call it a game? I'm the only one hurting when I hear your name. You're still caught up on your fame, and really, it's just you running from your shame. Flame you once carried for me has dimmed, so you say. I have to wonder, Did it ever truly burn for me anyway? The saddest part is when it all comes down to the wire, I still set myself on fire, knowing you don't care to watch me burn. Finn.
Margaret The Dreamer, everybody. Margaret The Dreamer. As Margaret pointed out, we do have our poetry stuff over here to sell. We've got zines, we've got books by our poets. We've got just a little bit of everything if you want to check it on out. If you like what you hear, just keep coming back and listening to us here. The next poet that we have coming up this evening, we're very honored to have join us. She's a singer that sings like no other, and tonight you'll be hearing a different side of her. Welcome, please, to the stage, Lindsay O.
Hello. So yes, I am a singer, but I'm actually a death metal vocalist. This is way more nerve-wracking than getting on stage in front of thousands of death metal folks and acting brutal. So this is not me acting brutal. This is me being vulnerable, and I don't like it. So, but this one is I put out a book earlier this year, thanks to Avantpop, and the follow-up is coming out soon. But this is a passage from it called "I Fucked a Narcissist."
We all have been there.
We've all been. It all boils down to eventually the boil will drain down to this sinewy fester under the skin, with its ropes of poison and fingers spread into ancestry and history, epochs in my journey. Its pages are folded stiffly, sewn shut hermetically because I had to. I had to call in every prayer and protocol to keep you away from me, malignant, desperate imposition called family. And then it's quiet. And in that abandonment is my soliloquy of nobody loves me, nobody loves me, nobody loves me, calls into the wild of id where hidden things live like soul fragments and secret fetishes. Nobody loves me, nobody loves. There's a break in my incantation as the ubiquitous he shows, the malignant, desperate imposition called the narcissist. In the basement of self, I face corners and let a shell of a man lick and suck me from toe to soul to make solid the weak weaving of his frail skin, just to spin me a story of how anybody loves me, anybody loves me, anybody loves me. A cold finger traces my vertebrae the way death lures, the way spirits equivocate. Somebody loves me, somebody loves me. Somebody loves the way that I scramble to collect bones and pickets and trinkets of me from the corridors of my insecurity to serve at his feet. You rummage through me like a picky thief and affix to your broken junk altar of self fragments of my crushed childhood. The me that needs, the me that wails and screams and rocks and hums. Nobody loves me, nobody cares. That's why I'm sitting alone on these basement stairs. You are the king of refuse, molding a castle out of my carry-on. And its rot and its stink is the perfume of many miseries that you sell, garbage man, with your oh pity me empathy routine. But still, I pull out of me what I have left of me under the thumb of sex and serfdom. And our dungeons, hotel rooms, and dimly lit suites pick me up and drop me off in the middle of midnight streets. Yeah. I let you suck me and lick me and swim in me, and in the vastness of my need to believe that I am worthy, I am worthy, I am worthy. I am worthy of the sun casting down on my bare face without the slap and sting of faux benevolence. I am worthy, I am worthy. I am worth a hand pulling me to glory more so than one just making me come. I am worthy, I am worthy, I am worthy of finally wrestling free from the abscess of abysmal self-esteem. But it all boils down to eventually, and the boil will eventually drain down too. The filament of infection that is you heaves open my wounds, the sinewy green, the scent of disease, sticky, sometimes sweet, is an elixir of shame and grief, and the sallow flow of a child needing and a woman now appeasing a man like you. I am a grayed out tree cutting you out of me, and in the sapped lodge of time, Passing buzzards sing, let me feed, to signify that death now reigns. Death to you, death to us, death to this, because I am empty. And the desperate thirst in my roots compels the earth to shatter open so I can finally walk away, but know this. I see you. You are a pauper prince and a parasite. Your charm is a crusted seam on the lip of deceit. So I immolate to drought and wither and rot in magnificent declivity just to starve you off of me. And here's my one lasting gift, and it's to upend your majesty. So taste my flood of haunting grief laying at your feet, sour with regret and pitted unrest, and suck it dry now and eat me.
It doesn't get much more doomed than that right there. Lindsay O, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to bring Dain back up here to play some music. Have another drink, folks. We got a couple more rounds for you, so stay tuned.
He's a monster. Am I any better? This house on fire, and I just sat there. No water all around. I found some gas and watched it burn down. While still inside, take my hand. Let's walk into hell. All that I ask, never let go. And kiss my mouth, breathe everything in. Promise me. Sat in ashes with nothing left, and when you came back, you saw the black, and I said nothing, just sung my hand. You whispered something, and what you said was take my hand, walk into hell. All that I ask, never let go. And kiss my mouth. Thank you.
All right, everybody. I thought I'd bring it down a little bit and give you a little something, a little soft here, a little slow dance poem for you. Again, my name is Shwa Laytart, and you tonight are at Doomed Poetry at the Red Dwarf. If you didn't know where you were, it happens to me too, so don't feel ashamed. This next poem by myself is called Dear Tragedy. Oh, tragedy. Must we always be so close in proximity? Oh, tragedy. Why am I always to be your beneficiary? Oh, tragedy. Like an active allergy, I get no rest from your frequent commentary. Oh, tragedy. Dearest, dearest tragedy. Forgive me, for I have reached my capacity for your ongoing distinguished calamity. Oh, tragedy. I shall be in hiding if you should come looking for me. Buried in an unmarked emotional cemetery. Oh, tragedy. Dear, dear tragedy. Doom poetry, everybody. Let's welcome up our next poet of the evening. We're bringing back to the stage Elizabeth Allen Berry.
What it do, y'all? So you've heard, how do we feel about the poets so far? We've heard everyone once, huh? A little bit louder, please. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. So one thing about poetry that we haven't really told you yet is that the more you give us, the more we give back to you. So can I hear that, yeah, just like the cartoons, poets like snaps. Can I hear some snaps? Everyone in the back, give me some snaps. Yeah. Can you give me that? I like that shit. Hell yeah. Fuck it up, poet. Okay. That was pretty good. One word homicide. Despair is the only word that can kill me. The only deep sea monster that I'm afraid of, the only feeling that can pull me under, and I'll never be sober enough to cure it. Ever be able to launder its dirty stench out of my clothes. These bows and arrows will never lead to its demise. So either we upgrade our attack or put down our weapons, because I've never wanted to step on the explosive emotion that ends every empathetic connection like it's raining blood from the heavens. I was 7 when I had my first memory of despair, disparaging me from a childhood that left me unbroken, unspoken. My father walked away from me, leaving me alone, teary-eyed, teaching me that if I need to survive, I need to keep the emotions in, that if I want to feel love, I need to be more stoic than a gargoyle and more unmoving than the mountains beneath our feet, but most important than that swift motion, he taught me that I need to be less like myself and more like the man he raised me to be. I got one more. Can we get a round of applause for all the poets in the house tonight? This is a poem that I've been trying to write for the past 5 years. I wrote it just for this event. It's an iteration of an iteration. This one's called Life of Annihilation. Started with the curiosity as a young kid. Memory books with terrariums, sun-kissed my intrigue in the life of the microscopic. Brought me to lecture halls and lab coats dissecting the ectopic, grandiose and prehistoric, holographic. These spaceships inhabited my dreams. Entomology. A branch of science concerning itself with a certain type of arthropod, entome meaning notch-bodied, segmented into subsections, morphological, called hexapods, because of their 6 legs and head, thorax, and abdomen. My confession, I'm a nerd. Peeling back my chitinous cell, I am a soup of nutrients nourishing my bug geek baby. I can't help but wanting to know the difference between collembolin, prochurin, and archaeognathan. Why some orthopterans can turn into locusts, why lepidopterans are covered in scales, why dipterans have 2 wings, why we insist on calling ladybugs bugs when we all know, say it together, coleopteran. They're coleopterans, not hemipterans. I'm gonna stop myself there. Because these metaphors metamorphose deeper than rote memorization, like how pollinators in flight find their flower. Sweet pollinous nectar rides on the wind in cone-shaped patterns, directing towards their sustenance. Wing-shaped insects pass, winged insects enter their path, flying in a diminishing side wave until it reaches its sweet treat, like me on my journey of becoming one of the greats. I entered my cone-shaped tunnel towards my worldly ambitions. Like E.O. Wilson, I wanted to try my fate, to spend my time in a life of bliss-like state by naming and describing my own species. I unknowingly began my campaign towards annihilation. Ethanol became my tool of destruction, fueling my investigative appetite. I murdered thousands of lives, sorted and inspected, labeled in my annexation. To make my mark on the museum, I found a group that I would study, parasitoid wasps. Microscopic hymenopterans that use their hypodermic needle-like stinger to eject their offspring into other insects' metal. Hovering over their unsuspecting anthills or jungle leaves and petals, there had to be some left for me to discover. Even further towards my flower, my mentor handed me a box of murder from down under, held captive since the 1980s until my hands could uncover the secrets of these wasps. Genus Stenothrema. Species Falcatus, named for its black mesosoma, and falcate ovipositor shaped like a scythe. Species Nungaris, named after the small ghost town the specimen was found outside of. Species Townsai, named after a man who captured it. These three species bear my name along with their death certificate. How strange the gravity of hindsight. That I named life before I chose my own autonym. Gave my desired reality to something smaller than me, gave them death, gave them a name, learning facts like by the time I finish this poem, 3 species of insects will go extinct. I choose a different flower, I choose poetry, casting words to describe my most minuscule memory like a wasp. I inject new eggs and they will grow inside of you, give life to new realities, not for me, but for fellow insects that have been squashed, that were not deemed worthy of life, that were not valued for the beauty they held within. I reject my life of annihilation. With my lungs, I choose a new breath. I ran away casting death. I to be a harbinger of life, to step beyond annihilation.
Nothing says doomed more than insects taking over, I gotta say. All right, we have another beautiful poet coming up to speak for us. Are you ready? Margaret The Dreamer.
I'm back. Thank you. Let's get mad for a second. This is called lemon juice. Salt my wounds. Citric acid on a paper cut leaves me at honestly, what the fuck? I can't match an ever-changing mood. Maybe you did what you would, but was it all that you could? I'm finding it hard to believe that your heart resides on your sleeve because I can't seem to see. Maybe you're better, bitter, Finn. Let's get sexy for a minute. Mine too. This is called Summertime and Heat. Passion I have radiates from the heart, burns in my loins, wet and deep like the ocean. I beg you to join. Zeal I have for life, you feel it in my eyes, my touching you sensuously, listening to your desired cries. I'm strongly longing to please, to bring you to your knees from intense pleasures. Pleasures my body gives you can't be measured. Captivated, wild souls caught in an instant, lust giving and receiving, drinking you into my magic, and feeling is believing. Finn. Let's get actually doomed for a minute. This is a book from when I was 17 years old, so we're getting really old shit with this, guys. It's also so you know I'm not new to this. I'm gonna do my best. I don't normally do poetry like this, so this is the first time I've ever read it, but it fits so well. It's kind of themed, it's kind of like fantasy and like spooky. Tonight is the night, my children of dark, for you to come alive. You are free to flit about the earth, looking for a soul on which to thrive. Come forth from the pits of darkness within our hell. Set out among the mortals, cast out your evil spell. Arise, my death angel, clutch to your black-hearted bosom tight, all who show themselves worthy to join our clan tonight. And with those kind souls of no use to our workings, tear away with their hearts, their lives, yet leave their bodies lurking. This is your one chance, so prove to me this on this God-forsaken eve. Seek out our true followers, destroy the rest, then take your leave. Bring our worshipers down and show them their new place of dwelling. Unite yourselves together as one, inhabit one body, and be you well-faring. Together we shall rule all realms. Finn. Like kind of fun. I was like thinking about like Night on Bald Mountain from like Fantasia when I was writing it. I definitely remember. This is probably the longest one. This is also an older one. I guess it's like existential nihilism, so that's doom, you know? This is called Cardboard Crown. Who am I to even ask for another day? Your precious pollution, someone else must deserve a lungful more than this princess, so dust off my cardboard crown. You can laugh, I want to laugh along, but my voice seems to have run dry, just when I had the most words to speak. Can we stop playing irony? I can't seem to win at that game. I admit I want to win, since your loss is so much my pleasure to dish out. Does that mean your hate would grow, or am I just magic? This potion may be poison, but you seem to have grown a taste for it now, don't you? I can make this all you. In fact, it would be easier if we just parceled out the blame, since the spirit of giving is strong with me. Yet, thinking about it, who really is the liar? Maybe we just dreamt all this up so we could fancy ourselves further in life and love. And while I'm at it, I may as well wish for a pony. You know my favorite plaything. You're mine. What is real and what isn't? I can't seem to find my way out of this bottle, so just let me float. The mermaids and I play with the stranded islander. He loves his coconuts all too well. You can't hide me away in that sand castle. I'll swim the moat. So be hardbound to my paperback, but I warn you, I may tear. And I often wonder where you left your dust jacket. Plato always wins over a trashy romance novel. Finn.
Margaret the Dreamer, everybody. Well, I hope poetry doesn't stop you from drinking, because it's definitely made me drink. Margaret's erotic poetry kind of made me think of a poem that I wrote at one time, and I thought I'd read it for you before we bring back Dain and some musical entertainment for you. The title of this poem is When the Circus is in Town. Arguing about bananas with barkers, having too many cocktails with clowns, things I might do when the circus is in town. By the way, I was a circus clown for a while, just so you know. But sideshow freaks are dear friends to me. When the circus is in town, it's the elegant bearded lady that I'm there to see. An Amazonian medicine woman with the eyes of a jungle cat, with moves like a panther in their natural habitat. She invited me in, pulling the curtain back. Was it hours or days? I could never keep track. I was crushed when I heard that her spirit had returned to the jungle from which they were created. It's been years since I've gone now, but when the circus was in town, I made love to the bearded lady. All right, help me welcome back Dain. Let's give some music to this poetry event, because if we're doomed, we need a soundtrack to it. Dain, please come back up on the stage.
Oh, cool. Thanks. My last song comes with a disclaimer. Are any of you guys from California? Well, no, yeah, that's the thing though. Like, if you're from that place and you're attached to it, this song's not like it's not personal, you know? This song's really more about like, I don't know, like daddy issues, you know, but you know, I take it out on California itself, so that's called Ghost Stories. parenthesis, fuck you California, parenthesis.
Fuck yeah, man!
Remember the time when the world was flat, so do I. We took a walk to the edge and stared into space, when suddenly I took a leap and ended up in emptiness. My one mistake was jumping first. I should have known you'd stay behind. 'Cause I was just a kid with a bedsheet over his body, pretending to be a ghost. You always saw right through me. You never see my face, you never see my face again. I was just a kid with a bedsheet over his body, pretending to be a ghost. You always saw right through me. You never see my face, you never see my face again. On Halloween, I blended in, 'cause everyone was someone else. One day a year, I was king. I should have known it never lasts. 'Cause I was just a kid with a bedsheet over his body, pretending to be a ghost. You always saw right through me. You never see my face, you never see my face again. I was just a kid with a bedsheet over his body, pretending to be a ghost. You always saw right through me. You never see my face, you never see my face again.
Here's where it gets real literal.
Here we go, folks.
Fuck you, California. I hope one day you'll break away and drift into the Pacific, so far away.
People get mad when I sing this song.
You never have to cross your lines. I can finally stop pretending to be fine, and everyone can see my face and all sleep so well. Fuck you, California. Fuck you, California. I hope one day you'll break away.
Thanks.
All right, folks, we're coming to the end of our Doomed Poetry Night. We got a few more poets left up, so if you're ready for more, would you like more? Are you all ready for some more Doomed Poetry? Well, then once again, pay attention, because this is somebody you need to be listening to. Please join me to bring to the stage Lindsay O.
Hello again. Thank you guys so much. So this next one's actually a little bit of a shorter one, but this is sort of, as you know, I'm in a bunch of death metal stuff, but this poem is about really just finding beauty in darkness, which I really think is what doom poetry is all about. But it's also what music has been for me, and finding love, beauty, exhilaration, and just magnificent experiences, and really exploring my shadow. So This one is called, or this poem is called, Black Flag. I never wanted to be this. It was a lot easier before the fall into where the demons live. I know where they gnaw. I know where they sing in horrid cadence and in jagged undertone and in downturned dissonance. Their wail of abandonment is the wail of the underloved, sunk in undertow. They curl under and recoil when the sun comes. And I too hated the above, because the above was father and shitty narcissists and hands that harm. So I found home in the layers beneath. And it's okay, because here I found bodies that give rise to bloom and carcasses that wither away to reveal that even the maggots move in harmonic economy. Yes, I know the end and the dregs and the deranged bliss of not giving a shit. And the guttural pain that swells into delicious ascent, where my kite in the wind is a black flag. Thank you.
Lindsay O, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna have a couple more for you, and I hope you're ready, because these last two are really the closers tonight. They're gonna put the doomed in your heart and the faith in your, well, doomed thoughts. Please welcome back to the stage, Radiogenica.
Hello again. This one's less of a poem, a little bit more prose. It is called Home Fires. When I was 4 years old, I used to pray to God and ask him to save my house from fire, to grant his great blue love to my family. Every night, I would pack all of my stuffed animals into baskets and bags and ask my brother to help me carry them if a fire started while we slept. Before climbing into bed, I would double check the stove and the oven, and then I would double check again, just to be safe. I did not know that we were already on fire, and that no pious child could save us, or me, or the things I love from being burned. In middle school, one of the electrical outlets behind the bookcase filled the house with the smell of burning plastic, and my forgotten terror was reignited. My dad tried to reassure me that it was just a loose screw, but nothing could convince me that we were not on the edge of disaster. Now, as an adult, I resist the thought of my home catching on fire. I resist the urge to pack all my most precious memories into easy-to-grab baskets and bags in case a fire starts while I sleep. I do not pray to God to grant his great blue love to my family, but I still leave important things near the door. I still go to bed mostly dressed in case I need to run out into the street at God knows what time in the morning. But I am already on fire, and no pious child can save us, or me, or the things I love from being burned. Alright, I have one more. It is called Mad Dog. What if I am Baldwin's mad dog, gnawing on what's left of life? What if I am the thorn, patiently waiting for its strike? What if I am the knife, neatly tucked away in its block? What if I am the key, miskeyed for every lock? What if I am the hawk, waiting for its prey to flee? And what if I am the rabbit, always watchful of the trees? What if I am unease, undermining every dialogue? And what if I am the fire, the source of all confounding fog? What if I am Baldwin's mad dog, gnawing on what's left of life? What if I am the thorn, patiently waiting for its strike?
Radiogenica, folks, please. It just goes to show you that some of the darkest stuff comes from the brightest lights. We got a couple more left for you tonight, and this last poet, aside from myself, I ended the evening with, because their poetry is is pretty twisted and pretty dark and pretty demented, but it's something that I think that we can all relate to. Welcome back to the stage, Garrett, James, Dillon.
All right, so they let me back on stage. And I can't get to the chair, but that's not important. All right. Right on. No, it's Garrett, not Mike. All right.
Bring it.
This first poem is called Born Again. I renounce my faith unresponsive in a hospital bed in Midlothian, Texas, a town best known for Chris Kyle and crystal meth, where the descendants of Klansmen age without maturing, all eyes cast downward. The summers were humid and the churches segregated. The pastor never showed up, and charcoal and brimstone danced, vomiting victory like a river in a cave. Then I opened my eyes to a whole new world, birthed from the carcass of my previous parasite, my parents' poison suddenly bitter. Visions of black nothingness had shown me the light. Thank you very much. And let's give it a hand for all the other poets that have read today. Heavy sets. Let's give a hand to the bartenders, the real heroes. Without them, half of us wouldn't be able to do this, myself certainly included. All right, this next poem is called The Road Ahead. Concrete rhythms swarm the sanctum, infected daylight shines on forgotten mistakes. As dumb pain curdles to glistening agony, nauseated morning miasma thicker than mud. The road ahead is pure illusion, a gasoline oasis huffed until paradise seeps into the bones. This rotting shell throbs with sewer voodoo, crickets and candy canes on a piss-stained floor. The road ahead is the only truth. Burning temples of iron and flesh, dotting landscapes graying towards collapse. Mountains like fangs biting the nuclear sunrise. This next poem came to me in a dream, or in a state of mind very similar to a dream. This one is called Ketamine Moon. Turned on with the safety off, my nightmares come true and gnaw my bones. Dancing with a hospital gown or drowning in moonlight, you know exactly what you are. Been this way since fractured memory can recall. Necromancer's funerals so full of dull surprises. They found me, baptized in vodka, biting rats in consecrated darkness, and I found them boring and predictable, lost valor seizing up underneath comatose stars. I lost them under a hornet sun, subsisting on sand and other crystalline landscapes, guided by futility to understand my curse. Guided through futility through my cursed quest to understand. This thirst that begs for relief with no exceptions. This hunger that knows no defeat or death. I'll get to that cherry eventually. It's in there. All right. This next one is untitled. All right. Bled dry and begging for the sunrise, I wring out my sleeves for leftover tricks, hoping for some counterfeit salvation, or at the very least a loose Seroquel, but find nothing except battery acid and bullet casings, glass eyeballs and loaded dice, wasted wreckage like relics to be hoarded and worshipped by headless mannequins frozen in obscene poses as they wait for their chance to scream. The enemy of my enemy is my only friend now, as the butterflies embrace cannibalism and the shadows dance in agony down unnamed roads littered with crosses and confetti towards treasures too terrible for our pitiful language to describe. The madmen who once raved about Armageddon in the streets have all gone mute and speak to us now by way of a dead, unblinking stare, the color of diseased milk stretching 99 miles in every direction. It is the only joke left to laugh at and the only gospel left to suffer for. It is the only promise that cannot be broken and the only truth that will ever set you free. Thank you very much, thank you very much. I guess this is going to be one of the last poems here at Dune Poetry. Hopefully not the last Dune Poetry. It's been a pleasure. Everyone has a different way to get home, but this last poem is about the real place that we're all going. The real street that we're all on. This is called One Way. Is it still a smile if there are no teeth? I ponder these sorts of inevitabilities. Defeated decades, cherubs on the nod, corpses swaying from chandeliers. Downhill coming faster than you expected, exits fewer and farther between, promises to decay kept satisfied, sacred. Nothing left now except the horror of a one-way street.
Let's give a big hand for Garrett, James, Dillon, everybody. And the rest of our poets tonight. We've had here this evening Elizabeth Berry, Radiogenica, Margaret The Dreamer, Lindsay O, and my name is Shwa Laytart. This has been Dune Poetry. I have one last poem to leave you with, and it's called Fucking Clowns. Fucking clowns, fucking clowns. I can't say it enough. Be careful trusting some of these fucking clowns bouncing around. Take it from me, when picking clowns, be choosy. Be sure to skip clown names like Boozy, Snoozy, Woozy, and Floozy. Now, I don't want to say that clowns on a whole are completely bad. That's not my goal. I don't even mind which makeup they choose. I kind of like their big fucking shoes. There are party clowns that are fun to be around, unlike scary clowns hanging out at playgrounds. Don't get me wrong, I've met many a great clowns, but with hundreds, if not thousands, roaming this town. I'm warning you now, don't let your guard down. Fucking clowns, I can't say it enough. Be careful trusting some of these fucking clowns bouncing around. Now I'm off to a party because I got clown friends in town. Thank you everybody for coming out tonight. This has been Dune Poetry. I'm Shwa Laytart and we hope to see you again.